Chapter 49. A Hiding Place. Merjame, Arta and their friends had started stealing more. Not just the sugar sachets, but anything left out on restaurant and cafe tables. Napkins, cutlery, salt and pepper shakers too. Aidan told us that Mr. McMillan had even called the police to report them and told the local paper. Sam and I hadn't told Luca what we knew about seeing Merjame and other kids stealing that time, so he wasn't sure who from the Haven was guilty until one weekend when me, Jed, Aidan and Sam had spent the morning and afternoon on the Sorrento back beach. Spring had come and the warmer weather brought tourists every weekend. And on that particular weekend it was warm enough to take Sam down to the back beach. We chucked our towels on the sand and dared each other to sprint into the still chilly water and back. I figured being at the beach was better than being at our house. Annika was out of her room more often by then, but still not herself. Luca was at work as usual, and Pop just wanted to stay in his flat and read. That afternoon we were riding back up Ocean Beach Road and to the town centre. We'd shoved our towels into our baskets and thongs into our backpacks because it was easier to ride our bikes barefoot, even if the metal pedal stung for a bit after being in the sun for so long. "Would you rather eat toe jam or drink bin juice?" Aidan asked. "It depends," Jed said. "Toe jam if it's only a day old, but bin juice if it's been sitting there a week." Sam laughed, but I pretended to gag. "Ugh, you're disgusting," I said. But really it was nice that we'd got back to normal, for a bit. Jed shrugged and weaved his bike between me and Sam. "Nah, it makes sense. Toe jam after a day wouldn't be too bad, and bin juice sitting there for a week would start to go all hard, so you couldn't drink it anyway." "You're so gross," I said. Then I lifted my bum off the seat to get my legs to pump harder. "And you'd already got a bin juice for brains, so you may as well drink more of it." We were coming up to the bend in Ocean Beach Road, and I meant to race off ahead of them, let the wind rush by and cool my hot face down a bit. But then 3 bikes came around the corner, going so fast down the little slope that Aidan had to swerve to avoid being hit by one of them. "What do you think you're doing?" When I saw and heard the 3 bike riders squeal to a stop, I was off my own bike in a second, letting it crash to the ground as I stormed up to the 3 of them. I repeated something I'd heard Lucas say often, after he'd had a day working the speed camera. "You're a menace on the road." And then I heard Sam, Jed and Aidan let their bikes go too, to come stand behind me. Sorry. One of the bike menaces said, planting feet on either side of his bike to keep balance. Except when he spoke, he was all out of breath and it came out more like, sorry. I didn't recognise the 2 boys or girl, who all looked older than us, more like teenagers, and definitely out-of-towners. They were riding fancy mountain bikes, the kind with gear shift dials on the handlebars, and wearing these slick silver helmets that made their heads look like they were in constant whooshing motion, even when they were still. "What's the hurry anyway?" Aidan asked. "There's this kid," said one of the boys. "He's stuck on some rock." "And he's about to drown," the girl chimed in excitedly. The first menace had regained his breath and put one foot back on his pedal. "We were just coming out of the movies and the woman in a car pulls up next to us, asks if we know where the ambulance station is. Because there's this kid stuck on a rock and the tide is coming in," the girl interrupted again. "What? Did you tell them where the station is? What about the police?" I hurried over to my bike and picked it up, ignoring the little pebbles pressing painfully into my feet, and ready to pedal like mad into town. "No need. Someone walking by told her the directions," the girl said. "And the police probably already know, since they were looking for him." "What do you mean?" Jed said. The girl huffed. "Oh, it's one of those Haven kids who've been stealing things. This guy from the cafe found him and chased him away. But he got on his bike just as the police rocked up." I saw Aidan's hands tightly on his handlebars as they said that. "And apparently he thought he could hide out at the beach," the first bike maniac added. Sam and I looked at each other, and I could feel the flush draining out of my cheeks just as I watched Sam's face turn white too. Jed piped up. "So you're going off to do what? See if some kid will die?" The second boy tried to sneer, but it didn't look so tough since he was so much sweat collected on his upper lip. "Whatever kills time in this town." But his 2 friends looked a little sick at that. "Do you even know where you're going? What rock is he on?" Aidan asked. Then he put a sneer on his lip that would make even Lily Tran proud. "There are a lot of rocks around here. You might want to be more specific." The girl shrugged. "The one that looks like a cat, or the Sphinx rock," I said, and all 3 of them bobbed their whooshing helmet heads. "Come or don't," the sneering boy said. He put his foot in position on the pedal. "But you never know. He could get rescued and then it'll be a miracle." And then they pushed off and started pedaling back the way he'd come. Sam ran over and righted his upturned bike. "It might be one of Merjame's friends. Fred, come on." Aidan looked between me and Sam. "It's who?" There wasn't time to explain, so all I said was, "Someone we might know." Then I hopped on my bike, and even without needing to turn around, I knew Jed and Aiden would be right behind us.